So this is our first lesson. We're going to be dealing with the perfect fifth, the major triad, and these will mostly revolve around the notes C and G. We're just taking a few notes at a time. So if you have any questions at all, please let me know in the comments, and I will do my best to help you. Okay, so the next one we're going to do is pitch immersion. So the way we're going to do this is I'm going to play a note, I'm going to ask you to listen, and then I'm going to ask you to audiate, and then I'm going to ask you to sing and identify the note that I just played. So it'll go something like this. I'll say listen, audiate, 2, 3, 4. Sing and identify. C. And then I'll play the notes. So you have to be pretty quick because I'm not always going to do it in the same exact tempo. Okay? Get it? Here we go. We're going to start with C4 and G4. Those are the only two notes we're going to have for this first little excerpt, and then we're going to move into the bass clef. So you'll notice it's going to go lower. So we're going to do C3 down there and G3. Doesn't matter if you identify the octave register. It only matters if you're identifying C and G right now. Here we go. Listen. Audiate. Sing and identify. C. Make sure you hold it out till I play the note. Listen. Audiate. Sing and identify. G. Listen. Audiate. Sing and identify. G. Listen. Audiate. Sing and identify. C. Listen. Audiate. Sing and identify. G. Listen. Audiate. Sing and identify. C. Listen. Audiate. Sing and identify. G. Listen. Audiate. Sing and identify. G. Listen. Audiate. Sing and identify. C. So don't try and necessarily do this exactly in tempo with me, just as long as you are audiating before I give you the next note. You don't need to worry too much. There's no special magical mystery if you actually go through and you sing it exactly in tempo. The tempo doesn't matter. It's the note that matters. As long as you're audiating it and singing the correct note, that's what we're going for. All right, let's do the bass clef real quick. Here's C3 and G3. I'm going to give you less instructions now so we can move a little faster so the future drills will go more quickly. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Audiate. Sing and identify. C. Audiate. Sing and identify. G. Audiate. Sing and identify. C. Audiate. Sing and identify. G. Audiate. Sing and identify. C. Audiate. Sing and identify. C. Audiate. Sing and identify. G. Audiate. Sing and identify. C. Gave you that one a little late. Okay, so the important thing with this is that you wait a second or two until I tell you to audiate. Once I tell you to audiate, it doesn't matter if you hold it out for an exact 4 beats. Even if you only hold it out for 1 beat and you get like that first initial attack, that's fine. We don't have to worry too much about being perfectly in time or holding these notes out for exactly 4 beats. In fact, if it's a little bit off kilter, that's actually part of the process. I don't want it to become too predictable. I want to keep you engaged and I want to keep moving you forward. So yeah, it's going to be a little bit different each time I do this. So just keep that in mind. As long as you're waiting to audiate until I tell you to, you are doing everything correctly. And then as long as you are singing the note and identifying it after I tell you what the note is, you're fine, okay? Okay, now we're gonna do the mirror exercise. So you'll see it notated on the screen in front of you. The way this works is you're just gonna kind of do this by rote right now. So you're gonna try and memorize this. Might be a little difficult at first, but you should be able to get it after a few tries. So the way it works is you can just sing the note names. So I'll give you a starting pitch and we will sing this exercise. It'll go something like this. C, G, C, G, C, G, C, G, C, G, C. So you notice in measure 2, you see that little number 2 and then you got 8th notes. Those are called 8th notes. They're actually, if you were to write them out over the entire measure, you'd have 8 of them in a single measure. So they're worth 1/8 the value of a whole note. Quarter notes, what you see in measure 1, they're worth 1/4 the value of a whole note. So there's going to be 4 of them in a single measure. So if we have a steady beat, that tells us how to actually count them. Quarter notes will be every time you have that beat. 8th notes are 2 for every beat. So you go bum, 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 bum. So if we were to actually play measure 1 and 2, it sounds like this. C, G, C, G, C, G, C, G, C, G, C. And then we remember where our G is. G, and we sing another perfect fifth. D, G, D, G, D, G, D, G, D, G. Now, with this exercise, you don't actually have to sing it. I'm singing it to illustrate. I'm singing very poorly, by the way, but I'm not a singer. We don't need to sing it, though. What we want to do is internalize it. So we're just going to listen. I'm going to play it on the piano, and we're going to try and replicate that in our mind's ear. So let's just actually try and play this first exercise. I'm going to play it on the piano, and you're going to try and hear it internally. Here's your C and G. Here's your G and D. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I want you to pause the video and rewind now, and I want you to try and do this one more time. So this first time you do this might take you a little more time. Do it a few more times until you feel like you can kind of internalize this. Once you're ready, resume the video and we will go on. I'm going to show you the next part of this. Okay, so hopefully you learned it, you could internalize it. Doesn't have to be 100%, but you want to get close to it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm not going to play the notes, I'm going to play what you see in the bottom staff. And you're going to mentally hear, I'm going to sing, but you're going to mentally hear this. Bum, 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 bum. Now, we don't want to sing it because we are trying to hear it against this interval. So what you're doing is you're trying to hear the bottom note and the top note. Bum, bum. And you're trying to make them stand out. It's a little different than just kind of singing this exercise. We're trying to open up the ear a little bit. So let's go ahead and try this. I'm going to sing the first two measures. What I'm singing is what you should hear internally. Here we go. Bum, 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 ba da dee da dee da dee, la la. So whether you want to sing the actual note names, or just la la, or just hear the actual pitch, doesn't really matter. We're just trying to hear the interval. We're trying to separate it. Okay, so let's go ahead and try it. Mentally, isolate that bottom note and the top note. Here we go. Eventually, I'm going to have you not sing the note names. I'm just going to have you listen to the interval itself. But for now, if it helps you, go ahead and sing C, G internally. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. How'd you do? We're going to try it one more time. So you've learned 3 note values today. In measure 7, you have a half note. Those hold for 2 beats. Whole note holds for 4. And again, if you're advanced, you know this, not a big deal. But I'm also trying to tailor this to teach people that don't know anything about music. It only takes a moment to do that. All right, so let's go ahead and do this. Here we go. Really try and isolate the bottom and the top note. This time, if you were singing the note names, try and just hear the notes themselves. Here's measure 1. 1, 2, ready, go. Okay, now we're going to do pitch breakdown. I'm going to play two notes. You're only hearing perfect fifths right now. So I'm going to play maybe something like this. What you're going to do is listen for the bottom note, and then you're going to sing it. Bum. And then I'm going to play it after a certain amount of time. And then I'm going to have you listen for the top note. Bum. You'll sing it. And then I'll play it to see if you got the pitch right. And we're just going to do about 12 of these. We're going to go through every individual note because we want to get used to hearing what perfect fifth sounds like on C, on A, on F sharp, on C sharp. They all kind of sound the same. They all have that open quality, but there's something subtly different about them, and I do believe that this causes confusion when we try and do all the intervals at once. So that's why I'm not focusing on anything other than C and G in this lesson, except for during the pitch breakdown. That's where we try and just take things apart to open up our ear, okay? So here is number one. Sing the bottom note. Listen for the bottom note in the interval. Sing the top note. Listen for the top note in the interval. Now alternate between bottom and top. So I'm going to play it a few times. Just go bum, 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 bum. Okay? Here we go. I'm going to simplify these instructions now. I'm not going to go through step by step. We're going to speed this up a little. Here's your next one. Sing the bottom note. Listen to the bottom note. Sing the top note. Listen for the top note. Alternate between the two notes. Really make them stand out. Next one. Sing the bottom note. Listen for the bottom note. Sing the top note. Listen for the top note. Alternate. Sing the bottom note. Listen for that note. Sing the top note. Listen for that note. Alternate. Sing the bottom note. Listen for the bottom note. Sing the top note. Listen for the top note. Alternate. Sing the bottom note. Listen for the bottom note. Sing the top note. Listen for the top note. Alternate. you have trouble with this one? A lot of people do. It's a B and an F sharp. The B and the F sharp, for whatever reason, B, B flat, those notes tend to be hard for people to hear. I find over and over again that if a student's going to get something wrong on a quiz, it's going to have a B or a B flat in it. There's just something that's a little bit weird about those two notes. So if that happened to you, you're not alone. It will eventually become so clear that you might actually just recognize what a B sounds like, because there's something about it that's very distinct and it's confusing at first. All right, here's the next one. Sing the bottom note. Listen to the bottom note. Sing the top note. Listen for the top note. Let's alternate. This one's going to be really low. Here we go. Sing the bottom note. Remember, you're going to want to sing it in your own register. You may have to take it up the octave. Listen for the bottom note. Sing the top note. Listen for the top note. Alternate. Okay. Sing the bottom note. Listen for the bottom note. Sing the top note. Listen for the top note. Alternate. Is that one another hard one to hear? That G? Maybe it gets lost a little bit in the interval. That's also fairly normal. Less common than the B, but it happens to a lot of students. All right, how about this one? Sing the bottom note. Listen for the bottom note. Sing the top note. Listen for the top note. Now let's alternate. All right, two more. Sing the bottom note. Listen for the bottom note. Sing the top note. Listen for the top note. Alternate. And last one. This is B flat on the bottom. Can you sing it? Can you listen for it? How about the top note? Listen for it. Now alternate. Okay, I won't always do this exercise in the same way, but I'll always tell you if I'm going to change it. So, the point of this is not to do everything the same way every single time, but to do similar things every single time. And it's really important. I mean, yeah, this takes a little bit of time, but if you just go through these lessons, you take your time, you devote a little bit of time to yourself every day, you carve out that time, even if you're only doing these 3 or 4 times a week, you will still see improvement. I would say you might even see improvement depending on your age and your adaptability to this and how quickly you pick it up. Everybody's going to be different. You may even be able to get away with 1 day a week. I have had students that can do this with just 1 day a week, but it's important You get in here, you just relax, you turn off your phone, close the other browsers, turn off some lights, turn on some red light, whatever works for you, and just sit here, go through the exercises, and just enjoy it. It's time for you to just listen to sound in a way that maybe you haven't done before, and it'll be really fun for you if you do that, because your ear is going to start to open up. Okay, now we're going to do chord or interval. So I'm going to play C major high or interval high. Remember, the interval is a perfect fifth. You don't have to say perfect fifth if you don't want to. And then I'm going to say, let's have a G major maybe, or a G interval. So the important thing is that you identify if it's major or an interval, and you tell me the note name, and you tell me if it's high or low. You want to identify all of these. So if you're not a music major, you're not really familiar with music, you may have trouble hearing that that and this are actually the same chord, just an octave different, right? So this is C major high, this is C major low. If you're a musician, that probably won't be a problem for you. So what I want you to try and do, everybody, is try and identify the register and the note. At this point though, if you're getting major or interval correct, that's a good start. Here's your first one. So here's C major, C perfect fifth, G major, G perfect fifth. Here's the low version, C major, perfect fifth, G major, perfect fifth. Okay, first one. C major high. C perfect fifth high. G major high. G perfect fifth high. C perfect fifth high. C major high. G perfect fifth high. G major high. C major low. If you got it wrong, now you know where C is, so the next one up will be a G if you hear that. C perfect fifth low. G major low. G perfect fifth low. C perfect fifth high. G perfect fifth low. C major high. C perfect fifth high. G major high. G perfect fifth high. C perfect fifth high. C major high. C perfect fifth low. C major low. G, perfect fifth, low, G, major, low. So here we go. We're going to do 2 dictations in the treble clef first. They're each going to be 4 measures long, okay? So I'm going to play both of these in one video, and you're going to notate both of them. Now, the way I want you to do it is first listen and memorize, and then audiate, and I'll guide you through this, and then I'll tell you to notate. When I say notate, just pause the recording. That way you can come back to the point where we actually do the dictation, okay? So we're only doing C and G. So here's your C, and there's your G. This is your first dictation. You don't try and notate it. Don't even think about the notes. Just memorize what it sounds like. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait for beats. Now audiate. Okay, now we're going to notate it. Pause the recording if you need to after I play this, and then notate. Take as much time as you need to notate it. 1, 2, 3, 4. If you haven't paused the video, pause it now, notate it. I'm giving you a few seconds to pause because I don't want to interrupt your process. Okay, next one. This one's in the bass clef. So you're going to have C3, it's in the 3rd octave register, and G3, 3rd octave register. Here we go. Just memorize. 1, 2, 3, 4. Audiate. 2, ready, go. So I'm going to kind of conduct you through this. That 4 beats where you wait before audiating is important. It helps develop your tonal memory. So do not try and memorize the note. You've got to be able to recall it after not thinking about it for 4 beats, okay? So now we're going to notate it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Pause, notate if you need to. When you come back, we're going to go on to the next slide. Okay, now we're going to increase your memory. We're going to go for a 6-measure dictation now. So the first one, again, is going to be in the treble clef. The next one is going to be in the bass. I'm not going to explain it. We know what we're doing now. I'll just guide you. I'll say memorize, audiate, notate. Okay? Here we go. Here's your C. Here's your G. Treble clef, 6 measures long. 1, 2, 3, 4. Audiate, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to play it again. This time you notate it. 1, 2, 3, 4. pause the recording to notate it if you haven't already. We're going to go on to the next one. This is in the bass clef. It's C3 and G3. Here we go. Memorize. 1, 2, 3, 4. Audiate, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to notate it now. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, go ahead and pause it if you need to. I'm going to show you the example on the next page.